Decoded.
Welcome, everyone, to Book Decoded, the show where we crack open insightful reads and pull out the knowledge you need fast. Today, we're diving into a really great guide, especially if you're just starting out or maybe in your first 5 years of work. It's called 12 Universal Skills, A Beginner's Guide to a Successful Work Life by Peter Scheele and Nina Bech-Andersen. Think of it as the unwritten rules, maybe, the stuff they don't always teach you, but that can make a huge difference between just getting by and actually thriving.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about this one, I think, is how it's aimed squarely at people with little or no work experience. It's not another high-level management guide. It's for you, the person learning the ropes.
Right.
Navigating those first few important years.
Exactly. And it's not just like abstract ideas. The authors, they've pulled from their own experiences, feedback from businesses, young professionals. It's packed with really practical tips. Plain language, too?
Mm-hmm. Actionable stuff.
So our mission today is to sort of unpack some of these key skills, give you a bit of a head start.
Sounds good. Where do they begin?
Well, the book kicks right off highlighting how different the skills you need at work are compared to school. It's a whole new ball game, not just about your grades anymore.
Right. And what's fascinating there is the emphasis on soft skills, professional behaviors, how you interact with colleagues. These are suddenly super critical. And, they're often not graded in school.
Think about it, right? Things that might have, flown under the radar in school, being a bit cliquey, maybe even kind of bullying sometimes. That stuff can have really serious negative consequences at work.
Oh, absolutely. And the book points out that shift, too, from, individual competition in school, my grades versus yours, to being evaluated as part of a team. You're actually paid to be effective together.
Yeah, that's a big mindset shift. Okay, so the first skill they really delve into is building self-awareness, starting with understanding your natural strengths.
Mm-hmm. And what's important to get here is that these are your inherent qualities, things that don't change that much. The book really pushes focusing on these strengths rather than, defensively trying to be good at absolutely everything.
It's like that restaurant analogy they use, isn't it? You'd be a bit suspicious if a place claimed to make amazing Italian and incredible Thai and perfect French pastry.
Exactly. Better to shine where you're naturally talented, more productive.
Makes sense.
But self-awareness isn't just the good stuff. It also means recognizing our biases, those unhelpful beliefs we pick up from our upbringing, our culture.
Yeah.
They can cause problems at work if we're not careful.
That's such a crucial point. We all have them, right? Those blind spots.
Yeah.
The book really encourages taking an honest look in the mirror, identifying them, and then actively challenging ourselves, trying to treat everyone impartially.
Yeah, actively working against those assumptions. It connects to what they call iceberg beliefs, these deep-seated rules about how the world should work. Often they can be, exaggerated and pretty negative.
So just recognizing them, acknowledging they exist, that's the first step.
That's the first big step to getting them under control, yeah.
Okay. Another huge skill they talk about, feedback, how to receive it and also how to ask for it. Feedback can feel a bit loaded sometimes, can't it?
It really can. And what's insightful here is the distinction they make. There's developmental feedback, that's advice to help you grow. And then there's evaluative feedback that's like getting a grade on your performance.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, many people just focus on the evaluative part, the grade. But the developmental feedback, that's where the real learning happens.
And the book stresses, when you get feedback, you need to really understand it. Ask clarifying questions. Don't just nod.
Exactly. Get specific example. What does be more proactive actually look like in practice? You need something concrete you can act on.
Good point.
And it's not enough just to wait for it. Actively seeking feedback is essential because lots of people, maybe even your manager, might hesitate to give it unless you ask.
So asking kind of gives them permission, opens the door.
Precisely. Gives them the permission and the opportunity.
Right. Okay, moving on. For people just standing out, setting goals can feel, a bit daunting. Like, where do I want to be in 10 years? The book has a different take, doesn't it?
It does. The key takeaway is more about exploring and experimenting, especially early on, rather than having some rigid, long-term vision nailed down from day one.
Oh, okay.
Your early career should really be a series of steps. Learning about yourself, learning about different kinds of roles, different workplaces.
It's like tasting new foods, maybe. You don't know if you like something until you actually try it.
That's a great analogy. Being open to unexpected opportunities, things you hadn't planned for, That can be really crucial.
So it ties back to focusing on those strengths and interests we talked about, but not being so narrow that you miss out on something cool just because it wasn't in your original plan.
Exactly that. Stay open. See where things lead.
Okay. Now, the book spends quite a bit of time on professional behaviors, those sort of expected standards at work. And this is different from strengths or personality.
Totally different. These behaviors, they argue, have nothing to do with your natural strengths. You can't really excuse being arrogant or constantly negative by saying, oh, that's just my personality. That doesn't fly.
Right. It's just unprofessional.
Unprofessional, exactly. The book actually lists several bad behaviors to avoid. Things like being passive or aggressive, arrogant, manipulative, negative.
A helpful what not to do list.
Yeah. And on the flip side, it really emphasizes just treating everyone with respect, regardless of their job title, their background. Start by assuming people are doing their best.
That's a good default setting.
It really is. And showing some humility, showing genuine interest in other people, those are key professional traits, too.
And a simple one they mention.
Right.
Just express appreciation. Say thank you. It seems small, but...
It goes a long way. Builds goodwill, makes the workplace nicer. It's powerful.
Absolutely. Okay, communication. Obviously a massive one.
Oh, huge. A cornerstone, really.
Yeah.
The book highlights needing to adapt your style to who you're talking to. Being clear, being direct, avoiding jargon or ambiguity that could lead to misunderstandings.
And being brief.
Yeah.
But still giving enough information. That balance.
That exact balance. Get to the point, but make sure they have the context they need. And it also talks about choosing the right channel.
Like when to talk versus when to email.
Right. Maybe have a conversation if you need to build trust or discuss something sensitive. But use writing, like email when you need clarity, or a record of what was decided.
Makes sense. And they give tips for both.
Yep. For conversations, eye contact, posture, how to handle interruptions politely. For emails, keep them short, structured, use an appropriate tone, reply promptly. Oh, and the bit on making meetings productive is gold.
Ah, yes, the meeting trap.
Right. Only have them when truly necessary, with the right people, for the right amount of time, clear agenda, all that good stuff.
Vital. Okay, work life has its bumps. So building resilience is another key skill they cover. Bouncing back.
Yeah, and the core of resilience, according to the book, is accepting what you can't control and really focusing your energy on what you can. Getting super emotional or reactive often doesn't help.
So stepping back a bit.
Stepping back, assessing. They suggest techniques like challenging your negative thoughts. Like, okay, you think you failed. What's the actual evidence? Is there another way to look at this situation?
Try to get some perspective.
Exactly. And there's a practical 3-step process for worries, too. First, identify the absolute worst-case scenario. Second, realistically, how likely is that worst case? And third, okay, what can I actually do about this right now?
That sounds really useful. Breaks it down.
It does. And they also mention leveraging your relationships, talking things through with people you trust, and that's a huge part of being resilient, too. Don't bottle it up.
Good advice. Okay, we're getting near the end, but quickly working with your manager and your team. Big relationships there.
Definitely. With your manager, the book emphasizes being guided by your shared purpose and constantly aligning expectations. Those regular one-on-ones are key.
And you should prepare for those meetings, right? Not just show up.
Absolutely. Prepare, have questions, proactively ask for feedback. Don't wait for the annual review.
And what if you disagree with your manager?
The advice is to frame it constructively. Focus on maybe your discomfort or how it impacts that common purpose you share, or ask questions that might lead them to see a different angle. Less confrontational, more collaborative.
Okay. And for teamwork?
Big focus on we, not me. Contributing unselfishly, building trust, being sincere, reliable, doing what you say you'll do.
Trust is fundamental.
Totally. And also being willing to have constructive disagreements within the team and holding each other accountable. That's what makes a team really effective, not just, everyone being nice all the time.
Getting things done together. Okay, we're running short on time, but just briefly, the book also touches on things like time management.
Yeah, clarifying expectations, prioritizing, learning when and how to say no sometimes.
And decision-making.
Knowing your authority level, getting other opinions, avoiding that trap of trying to make the perfect decision, considering opportunity costs, all crucial.
And finally, networking and taking initiative are in there too.
Yep. Networking as building genuine connections, offering value to others, not just collecting contacts. And initiative, seeing what needs doing, proposing ideas, understanding why it matters to the business or your team.
Wow, okay. That was quite a tour through 12 universal skills. It really has just been a glimpse, though.
Absolutely. There's so much practical advice packed in there.
It really does feel like a solid beginner's guide. That emphasis on self-awareness, communication, those professional behaviors, it builds such a strong foundation for anyone navigating those first few years.
I agree. It provides a really clear roadmap, I think. Very helpful for figuring out the workplace landscape when it's all new.
We definitely recommend picking up a copy if you're in that early career stage or know someone who is. It's like having a couple of experienced mentors guiding you.
Yeah, a very practical toolkit.
So thinking about everything we've discussed, what's maybe one skill that really stands out to you as absolutely crucial for someone starting out today?
That's tough. They're all important. But maybe that piece on actively seeking and truly understanding feedback.
Yeah, why that one?
Because it fuels everything else, doesn't it? It's how you learn, how you adjust, how you grow. Getting good at that feedback loop early on, I think that can really accelerate your whole career journey.
That's a great point. Continuous learning, powered by feedback. Okay, thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive into 12 universal skills. We really hope these insights give you a useful head start or some new perspectives. Join us next time on Book Decoded as we dive into another fascinating read.